no quitting, but what seems to suggest a farewell kind of a speech made by Uddhav Thackeray, where he thanked his cabinet, came out with folded hands, faced the media, all of that taking place, but everything now, all eyes where the Supreme Court is concerned.
Forget the Supreme Court, Uddhav Thackeray has decided to resign. We can tell you that he has told his cabinet colleagues that he will not face a floor test if the Supreme Court order goes against him. He has made it very clear to his cabinet colleagues that his speech to his cabinet colleagues, he told them, he thanked them first of all for their support, said he had attempted to do everything through very difficult times in COVID. He said he was saddened by the fact that he had been betrayed by his own, but very clearly indicated, according to a source close to Uddhav Thackeray, that if the situation remains that the Supreme Court says that the governor should go ahead with the floor test as of tomorrow morning, he has understood he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't want to face the floor. He may give a speech either tonight or tomorrow morning ahead of that floor test, but he will not go in for the floor test. He will hand over his resignation. So Uddhav Thackeray has told his cabinet colleagues that if the Supreme Court matter which is going on at the moment goes against him, he will hand over his resignation either tonight or tomorrow morning.
That you're giving us, Rajdeep. Rajdeep Sardesai is saying that Uddhav Thackeray has clearly conveyed to his cabinet that he's not going to face a floor test if the Supreme Court goes ahead and asks for the floor test to be conducted tomorrow at 11 a.m. Rajdeep Sardesai is telling us that Uddhav Thackeray will then step down. Either he will make a speech today or tomorrow morning, but he is not going to face a floor test if the Supreme Court gives the green light to the 11 a.m. floor test. But Rajdeep, the court in itself, the Supreme Court, if we are going through its observations right now as the arguments are being made, has gone ahead and said that this case is very different to any other case, particularly because the Supreme Court in itself has intervened and stayed the disqualification of those 16 MLAs. So there could be a possibility that more time is bought by the Shiv Sena. What in that case?
Well, look, it appears there's a very, very small possibility that Uddhav Thackeray will be thrown a lifeline by the Supreme Court, because the judgment in the Arunachal Pradesh case is very clear. The governor's discretion to order a floor test cannot be challenged. Yes, there is an unusual nature to this case, that a particular petition of disqualification is before the same court, and that matter is to be heard on the 11th of July. But as has been argued by Neeraj Kishan Kaul, the senior advocate appearing for the Sena rebels, these are two different matters, the disqualification matter and the question of a floor test. Abhishek Manu Singhvi has of course said this puts the cart before the horse, that first settle the disqualification petition, allow that to exhaust itself, and what is the hurry to have a floor test? The heavens will not fall. But there's a very small chance of that argument being accepted, given that in recent times, whether it's Karnataka, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, whether it's Arunachal Pradesh, in all these cases, the floor test has been seen as this place, the assembly floor, the place to decide whether a government has a majority. And clearly you can see from both Uddhav Thackeray's body language and what I was told by cabinet colleagues of him who attended that meeting, that Uddhav Thackeray has thrown in the towel. He has said that he intends to resign. There was one view that he should go to the floor of the House, make an emotional speech, but he's already made two emotional speeches. They've not had much of an impact on the Shiv Sena rebels. He will probably make one last Facebook Live, we are told, where he will speak to his supporters. The fact that Aurangabad today has been named Sambhaji Nagar, Usmanabad has been renamed. These were long pending issues before the Sena. So he's hoping to take the moral high ground and now resign and then face the next big battle, which is really a do or die battle for the Shiv Sena, which will come sometime in September, October, which is for the BMC elections. So he hopes that he can perhaps take the moral high ground, which he has clearly lost in a way in the last week, because he was planning to resign, we are told last week itself. He was held back by Sharad Pawar, who said you must exhaust all your legal options. Those legal options are being exhausted tonight, and I think Uddhav Thackeray is now left with no choice, and his cabinet colleagues have confirmed that he has decided to resign and not face a floor test. So he's not going the route of a Yediyurappa or some of the other leaders who have at times faced floor tests. He's going more the Kamal Nath route, which is when Kamal Nath was faced with a similar situation in Madhya Pradesh 2 years ago, he chose to step down. So Uddhav Thackeray, we are told from our sources, will step down ahead of the floor test in Maharashtra.